Hello folks, how's it going? So welcome to another One Piece review. This time we're covering manga chapter 1129. I feel like Oda in the last chapter was like giving us context as to kind of what's going on. Here it's like Oda decided to fast forward and get past this scenario and make our way to the real Elbaf. That's what this chapter was designed for, which I have no problem with. And it's interesting that Oda decides to give the ending and the spotlight of this chapter to Nami, which I'll get into. Because of how the Sanji Nami fans took the last chapter, I feel like Oda put things back on track as far as like the ship wars, because it was all about that Luffy Nami action in this chapter. But let's start off with the cover page. Speaking of Luffy and Nami, and I don't know if this is just a coincidence or completely by design by Oda, but we've got the Yamato cover story, and as Yamato is watching Otama, the adopted love child of Luffy and Nami, doing some ninja training, throwing some kunai. But even though there is a series of disappearances that's been going on that Yamato is supposed to be solving and taking care of, we start the chapter off with the Sun God enraged because his plans and his world has been completely torn apart. If Oda wasn't obvious enough with the title of the previous chapter, he made it dead even more obvious with the title of this chapter. So this supposed Sun God got exposed real quick as far as being a fraud. We may have already gotten a resolution by the ending of this chapter, like I said. So immediately he's like stumbling over his words because he's like, oh my poor pet, I mean servant. So immediately you kind of figure he's not as divine as he makes himself out to be. We've got the Straw Hat Six, Luffy, Usopp, Zoro, Sanji, and Nami, along with Chopper, on the Issa Cat that apparently they took command of, that are running away. Nami points out this guy's way too scary, and this is what I mean by this supposed Sun God gets exposed real quick, because Zoro's like, he's more like a demon than he is a god. So Luffy, as they're getting away, is more focused on the fact that this world is, or most of the structure of this world is built out by Lego, because it's like, oh, they made this world, all this was really made out of blocks. So the Issa Cat blitzes through this block town, or Lego town as I like to call it. So, and you can kind of see how far away he is from them, so he's not that far. So meanwhile, coming up to one of the base moments for Nami in this chapter, maybe the most, because remember, Nami has the blueprints for this Lego town. So immediately they're like, we gotta head to like the mirror and shatter it, and that's our door out of here. So she's like, we need to get pressing forward. Usopp's like, we need to listen, Luffy, we need to follow the blueprints. You normally see Luffy not paying attention, but Nami's the one that takes the blueprints and throws it away, because she's already memorized the blueprints, and Usopp's freaking out. And this is what I mean by this, one of the most base moments for Nami in this entire chapter. The other is what she does by the end of this chapter, which is also pretty epic. But I thought it was actually really cool here. The fact that she memorized the blueprints and just threw it away because she doesn't need it, that was that was based. And honestly, this actually kind of reminds me of One Piece film Stampede, when Luffy had the eternal pose to find Laughdale, and to make the adventure more interesting, what did he do by the end of it? He's like, no, fuck that. He crushed it when you have the Rob Lucci and Crocodile out all gunning for it. So at this moment in this chapter gave me those same vibes, even though it wasn't as serious as that. It was kind of like, okay, this is something you expect from Luffy, not Nami. So I like that, and I also like the fact that she memorized it so she doesn't need it. We shatter the mirror, you have to shatter the wall behind it. That's the door out of here. So that's actually pretty cool. Also, if you noticed, Luffy and Nami are literally sitting at the front riding the Issa Cat. Just saying. And I'll go back to this by the end, because I think this is going to lead into something that's much more significant involving Nami. The Sun God with a giant bug net that manages to capture all of them. So he catches the Issa Cat with the Straw Hats on it. In comes Zoro and Sanji to like literally tear their way out, so that was pretty dope. This is like the beginning of the downfall of the Sun God, because it's like, oh, the metal wires. The resistance is futile, and he's under the impression that the ear god, the giant rabbit, is still available. Immediately gets told, hey, the ear god, the truth is, we saw him reduced to bones because Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji flamed and quartered him. It's pretty much established by Zoro. When Zoro caught up with Luffy in this world, Luffy had already taken this ear god down. After that, they grilled him up and then they ate him. That's why he's reduced to bones. So he doesn't have the ear god under his disposal anymore. And then this is where the Sun God kind of acts weird, or begins acting like he doesn't act divine at all, because actually pleased by the Straw Hat's resistance in this game. Literally, it's a game. He goes on to state, a grand tale is unfolding in my garden, taking a life of its own. Heroes are being born in this world I created. So there you go. So as the Straw Hat's getting away, I actually appreciate this moment. Luffy's asking what the hell's he laughing about. Then Usopp, he tries to shatter the mirror to like bust their way out because he uses Green Star Lethal Skull Bomb Grass. He cracks the mirror, but he doesn't shatter the wall behind it. But what this does, and I appreciate this opened up the door literally for Luffy by the end of this chapter to like smash their way through. So Usopp tried to do something that actually made sense and actually led to them getting their way out of there. This is where the Sun God, I guess, kind of breaks character here and break the fourth wall in the chapter, because he's like, oh, setbacks and disappointments, that's the core of character development. What a brilliant chapter. Like, what is this? Is this Oda breaking the fourth wall mid-chapter here? Because that's what it definitely felt like to me. So it's comical to watch your valiant efforts move me to tears. But then he reveals like he kind of knows the Straw Hats, because he's like, Luffy Tasso, Nami Tasso, and he's like, Nami picks this up. Like, what? He knows our names? I don't think we know who this is, technically speaking. Like I said, it seems like it's a Devil Fruit related ability that's going on here, but we don't really have the answer for sure. Then Luffy's about to go in gear forth to use his attack to smash their way through. Then Nami is like, hey, there's no one to blame over a natural disaster. So this is actually a comical scene here involving Nami. So Usopp's like, no. And floods and storms? No, that's just things that happen. Nami's like, good, because that guy pissed. He ticked me off so much. By the way, so was Sanji, because Nami got dressed how he dressed you up. So, and I called that out from the get-go. Like, regardless of how it happened, that's still creepy. This is where we kind of get a reveal, like, oh, okay, things are not what they seem, because immediately cuts to outside of what went down. We see the Sunny being transported to this guy outside of this world, and we see what it looks like. And this goes back to what Nami said in the previous chapter. It's like, we don't know for an Elbaf, but definitely a giant is behind this. We see Usopp, Luffy, Chopper, Zoro, Sanji, and Nami, apparently, because they're the only ones in this world that we've seen. And Oda decided to wrap this chapter up without the rest of the Straw Hats being shown, so that is pretty telling. Also, if you notice, so this is where the title of the chapter kicks in, like living dolls. So then he reveals, like, this is, like, he has, like, connections to Haridin, the giant that's in the Straw Hat Grand Fleet that we have not seen in how long. So Haridin has joined you all on his own. He wanted the new giant pirates to serve you, but this guy's like, no. So then we have the giant picking up Luffy and Nami in both his hands, literally side by side. So again, make that what you will. Nami's about to wake up again in the real world, but then he literally uses some type of sleeping gas to like knock them out. So he's responsible for sending them here in this world. So obviously this guy is a creep because he's obsessed with actually having the Straw Hat serve him. False Sun God is the one that gets served because Nami summons Zeus and then commands him to use Thunderbolt. And it looks like a one-shot because the end of the chapter, but we'll have to wait and see for that. But so Nami hit the Great Sun God with the Thunderbolt. So the Sun God got hit with Thunderbolt. So Usopp's early attack opens up the door as Luffy uses Gear 4 King Gun to like demolish the wall that's behind the mirror to like escape. And that's how the chapter ends. So Sunny still needs to be recovered. Also, we need to see the rest of the Straw Hats and what they're up to. This explains quite a bit here. So it's looking like this group was on the Sunny, because if you remember, this group was the only ones absent when Luffy got called out. So that would make a lot of sense here, because we already saw Brook, Frankie, Jinbei, Kuma, and Barney as well, along with the giants that were on that Viking ship. So we didn't see the rest of the Straw Hat crew until we got into this world. And I find it very interesting that, and if you technically think about it, even though despite it has been like a nostalgia trip, having this group like explore this world, if you really think about it, presented Nami in this whole scenario in a pretty boss fashion. Like I said, she got the blueprints to this world. She threw them away because she already memorized it. I'll get to that in a second, because I think Oda may have done that for a specific reason. So now the question becomes, what happens now? Because if they escape this world, do they have to fight this guy outside? Escape, does that mean they wake up again? So that's a couple of questions I have. So we still don't know what's going to happen, because Usopp's like, oh, please let the outside be Elbaf. I don't know if that's going to be the case, just because the whole reason they're not on Elbaf is because of this whole scenario. So that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, Oda highlighted that caption before this whole adventure even got started in Lego Town. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, but we'll have to wait and see. So I find it very interesting that after this creator, the supposed sun god, got revealed in the previous chapter, a lot of people seem to think that Usopp might be the one to take this guy down. I saw that a lot, and I wouldn't have had a problem with that, but Oda had other ideas, and instead had Nami be the one to actually strike this guy with Thunderbolt. If you technically think about it, Oda's had Nami highlighted and presented in a boss fashion ever since this whole adventure got started. It started with her waking up in this world, then meeting up with the rest of the other Straw Hats in this world. Nami was the MVP. She threw the blueprints away because she already memorized it. And I think the reason is because a lot of people seem to forget and take for granted that both Nami and Nico Robin are crucial for Luffy to get to Laughdale. But Nami did memorize a blueprint, a map of this world almost immediately, because she didn't need it anymore. That's why she threw it away. So I feel like that maybe where Oda's heading with this, if there's a rope poneglyph on Elbaf, like a lot of people seem to think, that's going to be one step closer for Luffy to get to Laughdale. So, and Nami and Robin are crucial in Luffy getting there. Here, also, I feel we don't know what role the Straw Hats are going to have. I've already mentioned what I think Robin's role is going to be on Elbaf. Usopp, we suspect, will have some type of focus. This chapter is kind of like, okay, this is like kind of like a step in the right direction, because he did assist Luffy by shattering the mirror, because it allowed him to shatter the wall by the end of this. Okay, this could be where Oda is like turning the corner for Usopp, because this technically isn't the real Elbaf. So, but I did find it interesting that the Yggdrasil world tree that I suspect is on the real Elbaf is also in this world, and it's not made out of Lego. So if you were expecting like Oda to like showcase Robin in the Viking outfit in this chapter, sorry, I got other plans involving Robin. So I'm kind of glad that Oda sped things up here. Like I said, a picture perfect chapter for if you're a Luffy and Nami fan. Usopp this is definitely a step in the right direction for Usopp, but we'll see how Oda handles Usopp going forward. But right now, this was a solid chapter to like get us to the next sequence, hopefully on the real Elbaf. That's going to do it for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like the review if you did it, thumbs up. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys' support. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.